And we're back. I'm gonna take a quick minute at the beginning to do a quick audio check. I think my audio's coming through better now. I hope so. Okay, well, regardless, we will go ahead and get started. Today we're looking again at the this EverCraft kata thing. Just kind of playing around. Okay, well, regardless, we will go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and jump into the mix. Yeah. So last time we talked about how we were going to use this EverCraft kata thing that we had found to take a dive into reactive programming and kind of play around with some of the reactive concepts. So last time on the stream, we went through the iteration one, the core piece of the requirements. We created a character. We gave a character an alignment. We gave that character a feature, the armor class and hit points. And we gave them the ability to attack and take damage. I think that's where we left off we left off at dead. So I think the last thing we have is characters can be dead. So let's go look at that and see what our unit tests tell us. Pointing out again that this is just a net standard library, right? I'm pretty sure this is just net standard 2, I think. I haven't bumped it to 5 because I'm on a Mac, and sometimes 5 and Mac don't play nice in my sandbox. Yeah, there we go. So all I have in it is reactive UI, FODI, and reactive marbles property change. It's a net standard library. So we are building out a domain using this kata and using reactive programming as our base. So some things will be overkill, but the purpose of the kata is to train our brains and our muscle memory on how to think and feel reactive when we're typing the things on the keyboard, right? So this will be a lot of thinking today because I didn't get a chance to prep as much as I would like. It's been a relatively hectic week for me. So I have a little bit of an idea how we're going to get through the next set of requirements, but I think we're going to kind of wing it a little bit too. So I've got an idea. Today we're talking about, we're going to give a character some abilities. Let's see what other requirements we have. We have ability modifiers have to be added to the roles, I think. And then we're going to start an experience system, which is going to be awesome. We're going to build our own reactive experience system. So when things happen and attacks are happening, we can do whatever we want, right? So we're going to give all of this a lot of fun today. Get some of this coffee in my system. All right, so let's actually kill this session. I always like to make sure that my unit tests run when I start, and then I'm going to go to my terminal here in a minute in Rider. Yay. And we are going to branch. So we'll do git branch, or git checkout -b. Iteration /core/ we'll just do abilities. There we go. Cannot create. It exists. Wait. Wait a minute. Let's go look at that. That doesn't make any sense. You already exist. I see practice. I don't see core. All right, let's try that again. Git checkout. We are on the right. Yep, we're at that point, and we're creating an iteration core abilities. I don't understand why you're. Oh. Why does it? No, it should take that as another folder level. All right, let's do this a different way then. Let's see if this will take it. Oh. Oh, I know. I see why. I'm smart. Let's do that again. Let's just change it to slash abilities. That's fine. Whatever. Because the branch name was core. I was thinking that was the folder name for whatever reason that I was on. Okay. Anyway, trying to be good at interacting with my audience, as my friend Matt would tell me, I'm a horrible host. So changes in the no, that's in iteration 2. We're still in iteration 1. Oh, that's what we were supposed to call it. Iteration 1 abilities. Derp. Let's do that. Oop, there we go. Yay. All right, so we got a clean branch. So let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to implement these abilities, right? So the abilities is just like a table, right? So it says, as a character, I want to have several abilities so that I am not identical to other characters except in name. So my abilities are going to be strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, intelligence, and charisma. Um, They can range from 1 to 20, and the default is 10. So the default is 10. Abilities have modifiers according to the following table. So whatever your score is, you can plus or minus your roll. We'll say, okay, so then we'll worry about how to modify them later. So we'll give them abilities, and we'll state that when a character is created, they will have default abilities, right? So because we don't see a way to increase them, we just see the default stuff. So character, when constructed, should not be dead was the last one we did. So we're going to copy this thing here. We're actually going to move this. We're probably going to move this fixture out because it's going to start to get annoying to have it in the same. Move it into its own file. Yay. All right. So when constructed, should have abilities, right? Have abilities. Should have. So let's create like abilities, right? Abilities. And let's say should, it's going to be not be empty. Because like maybe the abilities is just, because like, okay, let's go look at the requirements again. So the abilities is just a table, right? It's really just a key value pair. Like it's a table, right? But it's a key value pair. And if you notice, like if you were to dump this, it would just be one long list, right? Score modifier, right? So we have a key of a score and the modifier, which is that goes with the score, right? So really, we can just create an internal dictionary that says, hey, and again, this is probably going to end up very similar to the dice conversation later, where I know I can very easily start with this way, but maybe we want to come up with a better way later to do abilities. I don't know. So I'm going to do it the easy way first, and then if my brain is like, oh, we can apply this pattern, then maybe we'll go off on a tangent. Who knows? But what I'm trying to do is allow you to have your own ability. Whatever your ability is, you should be able to go against the thing and get a modifier. So you could look at an ability as this, right? An ability could be strength, right? And an attribute of an ability could be the modifier, right? Or it could be your score, right? Or your ability score or your ability value, and then whatever the modifier is for that. So that's a way that we can approach abilities. And I really think that that's how I want to start with an ability, is I just want to have a score and a modifier, right? Because like that's really what we're talking about. So let's go ahead and who do we want to do this more test driven, right? But okay, so then a character could just have abilities, which could be, and abilities could be its own class, and then each one could have an ability, or abilities could just be an array of things, but then you'd have to have a way to name them. So then ability would be a name, a score, and a modifier, or maybe it's a type, a score, and a modifier. I personally don't see any value currently based on our requirements in making each one its own thing. So like having a strength ability and a dexterity ability. But maybe in the future, a future requirement will give us a reason to want to do that. But right now, it's just an ability. So it doesn't need to like, so we could do it as a key value of key value pairs, right? Or we could just do I think I'm just gonna keep it easy. I think I'm just keep it easy for now, right? So we'll just go ahead and create an abilities class, right? So like let's go over here and do the thing and add the stuff. So maybe it's not that abilities should not be empty, but abilities should not be null, right? Yeah, let's just we just don't want it to be null, because if this is gonna be a thing instead of a no, that pattern won't work either. Okay, so yeah, let's just keep it simple for the moment. Nope. Yeah, and this is going to be an abilities. This is getting worse and worse by the moment. Okay. Let's create a type. Call this class. Class abilities. Let's go ahead and create a public ability strength. Right. Oh, wait. We can stop right... Oh, no, we can't stop. We can stop right here. And we can go run our test. Let's go verify that the thing does it. Like, I'm trying to be test driven, but I don't like really adhere to the minutia of the TDD. Like, I know I have a failing test. The test failed. Okay. So now, like, it should not be null. Like, we go make sure that it's not null. I know that eventually it will not be null. And it's funny, I just talked to a developer this week about how this pattern is like, I don't really like this pattern because I've seen weird behaviors with setting things out here outside of gets and sets instead of just doing it in the constructor. Generally, when I get into like polymorphism and stuff, it starts to be weird. But, okay, so now if we run this again, it'll not be null. And the test will be green light. Yay, everybody's happy. So now we have abilities, but we don't have all of the abilities. Like, we just have a placeholder for abilities. So let's go back to our placeholder for abilities. That's probably going to be reactive as well. Reactive. We're going to figure that one out, because this is going to get really, really weird if we get nested. But we want our character to have abilities. Right? And maybe it's just an I enumerable of abilities. But then you have to dig into the bag every time. Like, I kind of want to have direct access to it, so when I go to update strength, I don't have to go fish through an I enumerable to pull the correct one out and then go do it. I just want to be able to say abilities.strength.+1 score.+1 is really what I want to be able to do at the end of the day. So keeping it as simple as possible, we'll just expand it out and we'll just give it like a public ability strength, right? And maybe that thing is reactive as well, which means this thing would have to inherit from reactive object. We are having fun. Are we having fun? We're having fun. So we'll now have an ability, and that ability will just be an public int score. I think we want that to be get only. We don't want you to directly be able to mutate the score. We want to give you a way to mutate the score in the response to something else happening. We don't want to make that publicly mutable. And then the modifier, right? So there's your modifier. I think the modifier can be get only as well for the moment. Okay, so then what does that really look like? So, let's do that. So the score we know by default is going to be 10. So let's go ahead and say set that equal to 10. And I know I'm explicitly doing this because I want to see if I run into a problem with this pattern in this app. Like, if I run into it live, it'll give me reason to like actually care about it. If I just run into it when I'm dealing with myself, I'll just put it in a constructor and stop caring. So that's the modifier. So the modifier is just an integer, and we talked earlier about how the table is just a dictionary, right? So like, we're just gonna create a dictionary internal. We're gonna create a static dictionary internal to the thing, and make it happen. So, but at this point, we should be able to say When constructed, have abilities. So this is where it gets weird, right? Like a lot of TDD purists will say, "Oh, well, you should create a separate test," and I'm like, "Do I want to create a test for strength and a?" Ooh, did I just do that? Do I want to create a test for strength and a test for each one? Should maybe strength should when constructed. So I think we do. I think we want to create a test per strength, and I'm not usually the purist type, but I kind of want to see how this feels. Strength should be default. Let's call it default because default is 10, right? So abilities dot strength dot should be 10, right? Because that's the default. And maybe we set the default somewhere so we don't have to have 10 everywhere. We'll probably do that right now. Let's just go ahead and put the... and maybe we're getting outside the bounds of a unit test. Maybe this should be happening directly on the abilities. Who knows? But I think this gets into actually a very good point about unit testing, in my opinion, right? So like the common misnomer, in my opinion, around unit testing is, oh, we have to test everything. Everything has to have test surface coverage, test surface coverage, test surface coverage. This is my requirement, yeah? My requirement is, as a character, I want to have several abilities so that I am not identical to other characters except in name. Abilities are strength, dexterity, constitution. Like, nothing in here says anything about testing the abilities class or the table that we're using underneath the hood, right? Nothing about that says anything about that. So why would we do that to ourselves, right? Let's test the behavior. And the behavior is that when this character is constructed, it should be defaulted to 10. And we could even add a test that verifies the range, right, at some point, and we probably will. We need to probably, when we get into increasing, we need to probably prove that it can't go above 20. That's a thing, so we're going to have to pay attention to that later. But strength should be default. So instead of testing the abilities class so that we have test coverage on just that class, now we're testing the requirement. We're testing the fact that when this object is constructed, the requirement states that the strength should be the default value. In my opinion, that's way more valuable of a test than testing just this flippin' class surface to say that we have test coverage so we can say we have numbers to make people feel better about themselves. I don't want to feel better about myself. I want to have a nice weekend. And how I get to my nice weekend is my unit tests pass CI and I have assurance that at least my code in isolation works. Now, in integration, it may not work, but that's an integration problem, not a unit problem. My unit of work that I submitted to the team worked based on its rules. So if it's an integration problem, then we can get two developers on the phone and integrate, right? So my opinion, this has a lot more value than testing the test surface, so I'm going to go with the way that I feel has value because it's my time and I can do what I want, right? I'm going to be a real big kid about it because who says I have to be an adult about this? Oh man, you guys are getting to see my inside jokes. So dexterity, constitution, wisdom, career. We're just going to copy this whole bit real quick because I'm going to show you a productivity secret. Copy, paste. I'm going to show you the secret to productivity is copy, paste. So we have dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. Yeah? That's all the magic. So we'll do that. And dexterity should... Yikes. Dexterity. Oh, that test is actually going to fail now that I think about it. But it's okay. That's actually good. That's a good thing. We want this to happen. We want this to happen. This actually also gets into, like, I'm not gonna do it from a purist perspective, right? Like, I know that all of these things are the exact same. Do I need to spend, like, the whole point of TDD is to increase cycles. Do I need to spend a cycle doing each one of these individually? No, they all have the same initial requirement. Code them all up, watch them all fail together, watch them all pass together, and everybody's happy. At least I'll be happy. I don't know how you're feeling about it. But I realize we're already at a place where this thing is gonna fail, so we need to, like, make this thing not be bad. Because it's an ability, you'll notice here that it has an ability. So really what I need to say is that the score should be 10. And that's the problem. So here we're going to change this from charisma. Copy. We're going to pay. We obviously can't copy paste. This is going to be yeah, there we go. Intelligence, copy, intelligence dot score. The intelligence dot score. The wisdom. So because I'm not prepared, you actually have to watch me code out everything. So you get to watch all of the ugly bits that I try and shield you from by doing prep work. I won't say that I'm unprepared. I literally just didn't get a chance to write the code. I had the thought process about what I wanted. Okay, so dexterity should be default. Charisma, we can get rid of all of that. Strength dot score, and now we can come back and implement our dexterity. Should be an ability. And our constitution should be an ability. And our wisdom should be an ability. And we're going to get to exactly what I was talking about earlier about, hey, I should create a constant for this thing. And I probably should have done it before I expanded everything out, but this will prove that I should have just done it when I thought about it as opposed to continuing to run my mouth about other things that didn't matter. All right, so we got that there, that there, that there. So all of these will actually most likely greenlight, but let's just run them and see if they greenlight, and then we're going to explicitly go make them fail so we can verify that they pass. Hey, they failed. Yay. But found null. Dot score. And that found null. That object reference. Okay, so they do fail. Yay, we're happy. The test fails. Even if it's like a double negative fail, like it fails, right? It fails and it gives us the opportunity to go back and fix something. So we added all these tests and we did all these things and we said wisdom should be default. But did we give that thing a default? Value. Let me go think about these things a little bit more. How do I actually want this to work? I don't actually want these to be publicly mutable. I don't think I need them to be reactive. But I think I do need something like this. Ability, abilities, let's do public, because public abilities, strength is going to equal dexterity, which is going to equal constitution, which is going to equal the wisdom, which is going to equal intelligence, which is going to equal charisma, which is all going to equal 10. Oh, derpy. New ability. Can we not do this? Can we not do the typing? There we go. It's going to let me. It's not. And I actually want none of those to be publicly settable because I don't want you to be able to set the strength from outside. So now we're getting into something really fun that I'm starting to learn valuable lessons on is mutability. So when you get into MVVM, so I do a lot of MVVM development. So when you get into MVVM, you get into a lot of iNotify property change stuff in two-way bindings and event-driven things, right? So mutating things is kind of how you get other things to happen. Hey, I mutated this thing, now something else will go do its job, right? So I set some value and it raises property change event because I've set a value and then it goes off and does a thing. I don't know if I really want that here. I mean, I probably could get it if I wanted to, but I don't know if I need it and I don't know that I do want it yet. So I'm not going to worry about it. We don't need private set. We could probably. I haven't started with the C#9 stuff. I should probably like load it in and do like some init stuff. That might be cool. But I'll run these again. Hopefully, we will greenlight tests. Hey, all the tests are green. Cool. So now let's figure out how we do this modifier. Oh, we have no way to actually. Okay, so now from a testing perspective, we have no way to actually test to stub that out, right? Like, how do we create a character? Ugh, I don't want to have to create like an abilities service. That just feels it feels like really really anemic. Hey, let's create a service to provide you. I could do like an abilities factory. That could work, right? Because like, or do I want a builder? Okay, let's think about this. How often am I going to be setting the ability? I think I want a builder for abilities, but not necessarily the ability itself. I want to be able to provide you whatever the value of strength is, or whatever but then it can the question like but then I just want a factory where I provide that to you. I don't think I do. I think I want to provide an actual builder pattern that gives you the ability to set the strength, set the yeah. We'll do that. Okay, I'm sold. Because like now, because so this is what we're getting to, right? Like next thing I want to test is when constructed. Let's see if we can get all of this to reset. There we go. When constructed, I want the I want to be able to check that the modifier is correct. So maybe I don't need the ability to do that just yet, and maybe I can just accept that when constructed that when it's constructed that the modifier is whatever. And I don't want to check each one. I just want to check one of them because every single one of them we already know. We've written a test that says all of them should be default, so we can pick any one of those things, construct a stock object, and verify that the modifier is the default modifier. So I just want to verify that it has uses the default modifier. Should have default modifier, right? So ability dot modifier should be 10, which we know will fail, but that's okay. And we'll use charisma because charisma is like one of those things that's low key my jam. All right, okay, and that's exactly the thing. We found 0, but how are we gonna do the thing? I think we said we're just gonna do a dictionary. I actually do have that piece of code. We're gonna snag that. And I'm gonna just copy and paste some code real quick. You can tell everybody you know that you saw me copy and paste code. I am officially a cheater. 10x developers don't copy and paste code. Newsflash, I am only a single developer. I'm only one person. I can't do amazingly ridiculous things. All right, so this get thing can then just go against that table, and it can provide whatever its score is, and that can be how we project the modifier, right? So that way we don't have to mutate a modifier. We can just keep that static thing in memory. Is that right? Oh, we expect it to be 0, though. Now, based on this, with the default modifier, see, and this is why I wanted to be able to, this is why I want to be able to mock it, right? Because now I want to be able to say if it has, now I actually want to test the modifier. So now we get into the ability and how do we create one, and we're going to have to create a builder type pattern for that anyway, which kind of sucks. I feel like this is now getting into the realm of I don't like this approach because it's causing me to write more code that I may not want to write. But I don't know if that's like the right answer. Like if I was doing this any other way, would I still come to that same conclusion? And that's like the hard part about software development that we don't talk about is every decision we make has an impact on every future decision we make, whether we know it or not. And like this decision right here to do this way may be the thing that causes me the reason to have to go write more code later and write another abstraction and adhere to the fundamental principle of software engineering. So I'm very, very cautious at this point to like invest too much in this, but for the sake of the stream, we're just going to kind of go down the road and see whether or not we hit a wall that we don't like anymore. Because like even if we did that, right, then that means that the character would have to take in, so let's think about that. The character would have to take in an ability factory. The factory could return us, so if we stubbed out a factory, no, that wouldn't work. We would potentially have to take in something that gives us the abilities because, like, well, we haven't got into saving the character. yet. So who knows? But in a real world scenario, we may have to do this differently because we may have to persist these values, right? So maybe I need to persist the character, but then maybe I'm pulling the character out and rehydrating the abilities. So maybe the factory doesn't make sense, and maybe I just get it from some data service anyway, or a maybe that is a portion of the object that gets saved down, and maybe our constructor bit doesn't work and we actually need to take the abilities in which case why would we do it this way and force ourselves to have that, right? This could just be, I don't like this. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm coding myself into a box right now. I'm going to come back to me feeling like that in a minute. But here we go. Down. This is so for the record about the dice comment. This is exactly how the whole dice thing came about. I was like, wait, that's not right. Maybe I need. It's like now I'm getting into like maybe I just need a strength ability. Maybe these should just be properties directly on the thing. Because how we pull it back from the database matters, right? So like if we were to, okay, so let's think about that. If we were to initialize a value on a domain object, and then we'd have to take the value in from the constructor and project a new immutable bit, or we'd have to provide a way to mutate it. Okay, so yep, we're there. We're just about there. We're just about there, folks. We're just about at that point. So let's separate these files out so we can use our brain a little bit more effectively. Let's look at a little bit more of this screen so we can get a little bit more API surface. And let's talk about the fun. Oh, so we've got these abilities. We know we don't like that because now this thing is just a wrapper around more stuff that causes an abstraction issue. We know we have these abilities. Does the ability need to be its own thing, and does it need a name? Does it need its own functionality? Do I need strength? Do I need strength, and do I need all these other things, or do I just need? This is where I need somebody to like stop me from going down these rabbit holes. Hey Rodney, don't do that. That's not a good idea. And the person that's supposed to do that is out to lunch today. Slacking on their job. Okay, so let's just go down that rabbit hole for a quick second and see what that would look like. So then we would have like a public class strength. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see this. See how this works. Because we don't want you to have a default score and then not give you the ability to set it. We need to give you the ability to set it. So here we need a constructor. Dun dun dun. Constructor. And we'll set the score, and we want to do this. Hey. And now we want to initialize from the constructor. That goes away. So now we've got a score, right? We've got a score. And we can set the default to 10 here. Okay, I like this better already. So now does the score wouldn't need a name because we would be giving it, the type would be the thing. Okay, so I'm getting into this thing where it's like, okay, we could do an enum, right? And it's like, oh, strength and whatever. But like really like, because the C# typing system is getting there, we can do better. Because we can do type expression comparisons now that we couldn't do like years ago. So we'll make this an abstract class. We will make strength inherit from the thing. And then it'll just be strength, right? And then it will have a strength. So what does this do for us? We could then put this into a list of abilities, right? And then abilities. Okay, so let's go down this rabbit hole for a minute. Let's go down that rabbit hole for a minute. So then abilities goes away, and then character abilities could really just, they could either live here directly on the character, which I kind of think I like, right? Because it is an attribute of the character. Let's go back to the requirements and make sure that like we're not breaking the requirements by doing it this way. So it doesn't give us any like explicit reason why it has to be a certain way. So as a character, I have several abilities. Okay, as a character, I have several abilities. Abilities are strength, dexterity, wisdom, constitution, charisma. So those are attributes of me as a character. I have a dexterity, I have strength, I have constitution. It's a composition relationship. I have these things. I am not these things, I have these things. So I have dexterity. I'm a character, and as a character, I have strength. That will eliminate a unit test, won't it? Because now we don't, strength should be default. So now if I just change this from this to this, right, and rerun this test should pass. Or not. Well, let's get rid of that constructor altogether. Go away, because we're getting rid of you. We're going to get rid of you. We just can't do it yet because we need to make sure that all of our other tests continue to pass after we do. Can we go back to the test that we wanted you to run, which was this one, strength. So let's go run the test. Fody said, you can do no things possible to change, thus should not be marked reactive. Can you tell me where, though? Abilities has no setter. Oh. And then this thing can just be reactive. So when the strength happens, and we can even make the property in the thing reactive. Okay, I like this better because now we actually get closer to the reactive bit of the API surface. But it still becomes a question of, do I need to create my own ability? I think I don't, and I think I'm going to reduce that layer of complexity for a moment and come back to it in a bit. Yep, character, that's just going to be an ability, and your ability is going to be strength, charisma, or strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Yeah, strength. Strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, wow, and charisma. All right. Those don't. Oof. You're gonna tell me you can't do that for the same reason. So let's take the reactive chunk off of here. Was it Apple Shift? No. What's the command? Shift Alt? No. Option? Nope. That's definitely not it. I just broke everything. Shh, don't tell anybody. Left 2/3. Oh, my global key command kicked in. Joy. There we go. That's the right command. I was like, wait, I know the command. Delete, tab. There we go. Okay. So strength should have stuff. Character test abilities, so we can delete this test altogether. Oh, this just becomes that. We can do, was it? Replace. Is that all of them? I still have a red mark. Where's my red squiggly? Where'd you go? Where are you? Seriously, where is the red squiggly? Oh, there we go. We missed one. Ha. Yep, that gets rid of that entire test. Okay, cool. So that test has no purpose. Okay, so reducing tests. That's good. Let's go rerun everything. Constitution. So now we can delete this whole class because we don't need it anymore. We can go ahead and say now an ability is just an ability. We have it has it ability. Okay, so a character has abilities, and its abilities are strength, dexterity, constitution. We are not explicitly testing dexterity. Why? How? Did we delete the dexterity test? Strength. Yep, we did. We must have. Should have dexterity. There we go. Did we spell that right? No, writer will tell me if I spelled it right, so I'm not worried about that. Eventually. And how many lines of we have to manually go change this? Woosah. How about we try it on each test? Still no dice. There we go. Yeah, the modifier. So, now we can just test the thing, right? We can just test the score and the modifier. So we could just test the default values of both, or we can be cute and return it as a tuple. That would be awesome, right? Like return the internal value of the thing as a tuple, so you could like do 2.2 value, and it gives you like the score and the modifier. But I feel like we're doing that just for the testing surface, and that feels ugly to me, so we will not do those things. This is just my OCD kicking in, don't mind me. Don't mind me. Constitution, dexterity, score. All right, so now if I do this thing, should align everything correctly. Everything looks aligned correctly. We'll run all the tests real quick, and we will state that we have this requirement on the ropes. Oop, oop, oop. Tests are failing. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. So when that movie came out like years ago, my mom loved that show as a kid. She took me to go see it. It was great. I'm a nerd, so I like nerd stuff like object reference not set to an instance of an object. What are you talking about? Is there a way to set a default value for a value object? I feel like there should be. Let's go check the internets. Set default value. How to configure default values in .NET classes. Here we go. You can use the field attribute, but I don't want to do that. Public. Yeah, I don't want to do that. That doesn't look agreeable to me. We're scavenging the internet for ideas. Set default value on properties when null. Okay, we're doing the same thing. We're using attributes. Process much easier. Get default values with the helper method. Nope, we don't want to do that. We just want to actually set. Okay, fine. We'll do it manually. Whatever. Oh, am I gonna renege on all of that and say, yeah, this is exactly why we should have abilities, so that we could just have a single object and all that can be constructed for us? Or do we really want to be responsible for taking each one of those things in? I guess we have to, right? Like if it's not mutable, right? Like if you can't set it, we have to take it in. So let's take in like an I. No, these are attributes of the character. Attributes of the character. I don't know how we set those default values, folks. I don't know how I want to do this. Because like I don't know what the implications of this decision are going to be. And I have a feeling I'm already not going to like the implications of this decision. I don't let you set the strength, which means I have to give you the ability to get it out. So for the moment, let's just verify the defaults, and we'll worry about how we retrieve a character later, right? Because that's, I guess, probably not the point. Equals new ability. We'll get there in a minute. From a testability perspective, this will be problematic. Oh, we could just do this. All right, so now if I run this again, because like I guess we could just take in an integer. In all honesty, we could just take in an integer and allow you to set a character's, or we could give you a method that allows you to set abilities. I don't know. But we got test passing, and that requirement's solved, right? So like we've got that. We've verified. What have we verified? Oh, we have a way to test that now. We have a way to test that if we change the ability. No, we don't. We still don't have a way to test that. We don't have a way to test the modifier. So that's what we need to figure out. We need to figure out how do we test that modifier. When constructed, should not be dead, should have default modifier. I don't know that we need that right now, and I don't know if I'm just complicating this exercise, harping on this ridiculous requirement in my brain. So let's move on. Let's commit code and move on. Oh, wait. Okay, so we added our abilities. Character ability modifiers modify attributes. As a character, I want to apply my ability modifiers, improve my capabilities in combat so that I can vanquish my enemy with extreme prejudice. Add strength modifier to attack roll. Okay, so we got to go back to our attack stuff and figure out how we're going to do that, right? All right, so let's start there. So the strength modifier should be okay, so my modifier, whatever my modifier is, has to be available to do the thing. I wonder, did I write tests for this, or did I just think this thing up? Okay, nope, I don't have tests for this. So let's go ahead and write a test on the attack, right? Because we have a requirement where the attack roll and damage dealt. All right, so let's focus on that first one. So when I attack, strength modifier should be applied to roll, right? So let's do that. When attack should apply strength to roll. I don't know how we're going to test this. Flat out do not know how we're going to test this. But we're going to test it. And I don't know if we even have an extension point for that right now, so let's go look at the attack real quick. Do we have the ability to see what the roll was off of the attack? I don't think we do. So how do you see what the roll was? So we would have to have a way to track the roll in order to be able to test this, right? We would have to have okay. Yeah, we would have to keep the state of the attack roll. Do we want to do that? Do we want to keep the attack roll is the question. How else will we know that the value was added, right? We would have to know. We'd have to keep it. We would have to keep the attack roll. And I have a feeling that's why we set this here in the first place, because we knew we would have to come back and keep the attack roll at some point. And maybe it's something that we don't make publicly. Ugh. No. We give you the attack roll. Because we don't care. I don't think we care. Oh, wait. Let's be good. We'll just give you the attack roll, right? Because why do we care? Public int. Let's get private set. And I think we want that to be reactive as well, so that way you can subscribe to when it changes. And what we're going to do here is set the attack roll here. Is that what we're going to do? Or are we going to be reactive about this? Okay. Let's go write a failing test first. Right? We would need to know the modified roll. But wait. Let's go back and verify that we have the ability to mock the attack value. Okay, we can tell the thing what we're going to roll, and then we can verify that a modifier was applied by doing some simple subtraction. So I think I want this to be the overall roll plus the modifier. Does that sound right? Like, I want to explicitly add the modifier, but do I want to add the modifier in the... How am I going to do this? How did I think to do this? Oh, joy. Yep, we're going to go there. No. Yeah, whatever, fine. YOLOs. Okay, so we'll just go do it this way. This is the way I had it in my head. And maybe, again, this is all overkill, but we are stretching our legs and building reactive bits for the sake of building reactive bits to understand how to build reactive bits. So we'll call this a roll event, right? And on our roll event, we'll have a public roll event, and we will take in the roll, wow, and the modifier. Modifier, right? Okay. That feels good. And then we will do this thing, auto property for all unused parameters. Yay. Constructor goes at the top. You should know that. Remove not access property. You stop. And then what we'll do is we'll change our character attack to, instead of, we won't change that to an iObservable yet. It will just return an event. It will return a roll event. Ugh, there we go. Yeah. And then we'll do a new roll event, and we'll do that, and we'll provide it the strength.modifier, right? and then the attack will produce a roll event. We can then we then have access to the entire event. Oh, then we can just make this the entire the roll itself was the attack roll. This is great. This is great. This is great. Okay, good. And then we can do this attack. So I don't want to do it as like a 2-string, but I think I want to do like as a 2-int. I want to be able to project the event itself. I want to be able to project the event itself as something more than just that's overkill. We have the roll, we have the modifier. Do we need the modifier directly? No, we don't need to keep the modifier directly. Let's change it. We don't care about that. We want the roll and we want the modified. We want the roll and we want the modified roll. So here, this will be roll plus modified. Modifier. That's going to be modifier. Modify. Is that right? Oh my God. English looks so ugly to me right now. That's weird. Okay, yeah, I guess that's spelled right. All right, so... We've got a roll event. So now we can just take the modified roll there, because that's what we want. We want to know if here we want to know if the attack roll dot roll was a natural 20. Oh, if attack roll equals attack roll. Oh, derp. Wrong side of the equals sign. Roll equals 20. Okay, so all that green lights up again. And like at this point, I just kind of want to slam F5 and see what breaks. No way everything just green lighted. Oh, duh. We didn't even fill out the test properly. We didn't change code, but didn't fill out the test properly. So, okay, so the attack roll dot modified. In this case, we're just gonna we just want a plus modifier. So we want to send in a 20, and we want this thing to be 21. Right? Because we want a +1 modifier, which means we need to send in a character that has a dot strength. Ha! We're going to do with strength. So this is where I was like, oh, I want a builder, but like I have a builder on my fixture, so it's like, yeah, I could technically kind of just double it, create. You, sir, are not helpful. This with strength. We're going to call it with an ability. We're going to rename that to strength. And this will be underscore strength. Create field ability. All right. So that sets our default. We'll go back to our test with strength. We're going to give it a new ability of... what's our table tell us? Our table tells us that in order to get a +1 modifier, my strength needs to be at least 12. So I will go back here and give it an ability of 12, which will give us a determination to whether or not the actual behavior is going to work correctly. So now if I run this test, if it green lights, I'm immediately going to go make it fail because I don't believe that it should pass. Hey, it fails. Yay, we get an object reference error. my attack roll, where's my object reference error, is going to be on attacks line 55. Brr. Maybe that does need to be an eye observable. Because, like, it won't have an initial value. I was trying to make it easy on myself, but it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to make it easy on myself. Which is fine, right? Because, like, okay, so this gets into, like, the internals here might change, right? Because, like, okay, here, instead of doing this when property value happens, right? Now what I might do is do, like, a attacker dot attack, right? And then I can subscribe. Then I can roll off that observable, right? So when the attacker attacks, I can just go and do stuff and get access to the attack roll, right? Like, that's a way I can do it. But right now, I'm trying to access an object that will never have a value. No, it should. Wait a minute. Let's go look. Let's go look. Let's not go do silly things. Observable.create. And maybe it's at the execution of the tag, or maybe maybe this attack is an event and I'm just trying to force a square peg down a round hole. Get the big hammer. Because what am I trying to test here? I'm trying to test that the strength modifier is applied to the roll at the time that we do the attack. Yeah? So when we do the attack test, let's just debug the thing. Okay, so defender, the roll event happens. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just like I should just stop doing what I'm doing and just stop being a developer altogether, because obviously I am bad at this. It's obvious to me. It's got a private set on it. Why won't you do the ooh? Wah, 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 wah. Okay. At least I know what I'm doing now. Or what I'm breaking. I don't want to do that as a subject. I want to give you access to an attack roll. I could pump the attack roll down an observable. Right, but then at that point, why don't I just make it the observable, right, and just change up the way this works? Okay, yeah, I'm otherwise convinced. Because okay, right now we're doing it in response to the property change. So let's go to the character. The character will attack, which will give an eye observe. Let's just create new API surface and verify, so we don't break the old thing first. Eye observable roll event attack equals. I can do observable.return. I'll kind of want to do like observable.create roll event observer thing. Return. Oh wait, no, we can't do that. We have to do this here, and then do a return dispose many. Fine. You win, I lose. Why am I introducing them? Oh no, we really don't want to do this because we would still have to use observable.return in order to get this. Because we're not setting a value. Ugh. Returns a single instance, whatever. Okay, now my attack all that stuff is broken. Yay! So now instead of doing this and doing it based on property change, what we can do is attacker dot attack dot to property ex this I think I want to call that an event. This comma x dot we'll be bad stewards of our memory management for the moment until we figure out what it is that we're changing. So now we do that. We can do this when property value changes on the attack roll. We can select that thing and just pump it down into that. Okay, I'm okay with this. So now we can do when property when we're going to sit for a second. We're going to wait. When property value changes, x dot attack roll dot combine latest with We are so good at the things. We are doing all the amazingness. And then in our combine latest, now we would need to take in our attack event and our characters, right? And then we can just project the characters downstream and do our dot execute and do our dot subscribe. Ha! Execute attack. We like it. Okay, so what do? We're actually going to take this and make it easier to read. We're going to do an introduced variable, and we're going to do when characters changed. We're going to run that. We're going to do that. All right, so when characters changed, so when the attack changes, so we're setting the toProperty EX attack roll. When property value changes on the attack roll, we're going to grab the latest off of that observable, pipe it down, and then we're going to execute the attack. So the first thing now that has to happen in order for an attack to initiate is the attacker has to attack. Haha! So now we can put additional logic in here that blocks the attacker from being able to attack. We can do like skip until, skip when, blah, blah, blah. So we can do a whole bunch of fun stuff when we can say, hey, the attacker can and or can't attack. Like maybe we even move some of the logic around attacking out of the attack itself and into some shareable bit that we can put here. Don't know, don't care. It's thoughts that we want to think about as we go forward. Oh, we still need the attack roll, don't we? Eek. Because we don't want to attack again. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, I like this better. I like this better. So instead, what we're going to project is, we're going to project a value tuple. And that value tuple is going to be the attack event and the characters dot defender. Because once the attacker has done its bit, we actually don't want any further access to the attacker itself, right? Like the attacker has initiated the attack, so we don't actually need the attacker down here when we go do our roll, right? Because we have the roll itself. So we'll call this the roll event, and we'll call this the attack, right? And we'll do the attack dot roll and attack dot modified, right? Oh. We'll call this defend. Defense, because now that's what, like, that's really all you're doing in the execution of the attack is you've got a defense. So you've got a defense dot attack dot modified. No. No. We have an attack, and this is the roll. Sorry, folks, for my indecisive nature. Dot roll dot modified attack dot defender dot armor class attack dot defender dot damaged, and this would be attack dot roll Oh, I just had a thought in the back of my head. I was just laughing because I'm like, man, if Chung Hwa-eung could see me now, just slamming F5 and just watching code break or not break, having tests that verify my API service, he would be thrilled at the progress that I've made. Hey, I broke everything. This is good. Object of type thing cannot convert type. You want to know why? Because we didn't do the right stuff. The right stuff. It's like 80s nostalgia right there. Observables property get. Yeah, so now this thing should be able to pass its 40 bits. Okay, so everything else passes, but this is still broken. Expected it to be value 21, but found 20. Okay, so now we have a valid failing test. So the modified, so now we can go to exactly where we're doing the modified, which I think is on the where are we doing that? Were we smart? We did it in the roll? Yep, we did. So we can put it right here. We put a breakpoint here, and we can verify that when we debug that the thing gets that plus the thing, which it should. So maybe our modifier piece is broken. Yeah, if we... Oh! I can mock the roll, but I didn't mock the ability. Oh, no, I did. The strength. Oh, did we not? We didn't give... Yeah, that would force me to... Yep, here we go. Rod is just going to go do the thing. We're going to do the thing. We're going to create an ability factory. Public. Interface. Ability factory. I don't know if I want this to be like a create or get type of syntax, but for the moment we'll just do create T where I guess we can give it the default value of the thing, so we can give it the score, right? And we can default that to 10. I think we can do that on our interface. Let's do create where T is an ability. What did I do wrong here? I did a public interface. I gave a generic type definition. Maybe I can't do this in the interface. Maybe that's what you're gonna yell at me for. You're gonna tell me I can't do that. Can you tell I haven't had enough coffee today? Where T without the angle brackets. Man, like, you would think I started doing this yesterday the way I'm operating today, huh? All right, so we'll pass into our character an ability factory. We'll call this the ability factory. We'll go ahead and do the thing. We probably should have changed the stuff everywhere. And then here, what we'll do is we'll get it out by the type. I could probably now do it by name, but I'm going to do it by type because I want to. Strength. Oh, does that actually get us anywhere? How do I allow you to pass in an ability, but also set that ability's value somewhere else in a clean and constructive way? All right, because I still can't give it the designation that I would want to give it based upon the character. Do we really want to do this? I mean, we can mock it, right? Like, that'll at least allow us to test it. But I don't know if this is something I really want to do, or if I'm just causing more problems than I'm solving. I could just give it a name, but that won't matter. I'd still have to find some way to give you the default value, but I can worry about that later. No, we don't want to do that. We just want to do ability. Oh, we do want to be able to give it some key, though. All right, here we go. Off to the races. Let's just go implement our ability factory. Public class ability factory. Ability factory. Implement the thing of T. We're going to do it based upon type resolution. So we're going to do a private static dictionary of type and of ability. Underscore abilities equals a new thing. Yes, okay. So we'll create it. Oh, we actually don't want to do that. We actually just want to create, it outright. And we want to give you the ability to give it a value. Because if we cache it, then we'll cache it for everybody, and that may not be what we want. We would still need a way to take in the default value. I'm going to worry about that later. For now, what this thing will do is return a new T. Cannot create instances of T because it does not have the new constraint. Ugh. Fine. We'll give it the new constraint. Does that work? Or does the new constraint have to be first? I think new has to be first. There's a way that all this works. It's going to tell me unexpected token. Where T is of type ability, right? T is, oh, is it that? There we go. Rider's not, oh, I need that there too. Okay, whatever. So off we go. Back to our ability. We're now going to make this the abstract base class. I have a feeling I don't like this. Like, I really don't like this, but we're gonna follow the trail of breadcrumbs. Class strength. Which is now an ability. Strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. Yeah. Okay, so now we have that type. So now we have types, right? That can expand from the ability, the abstract thing. This can now be int score ability. It should just take on the default constructor. Do I not have to provide that? That seems weird. Using directive not required and can be safely removed. Yay! Bye bye. Bye bye lines of code. Alright, this is going to be an I ability factory, and then we're going to do underscore ability factory. It's going to be an I ability factory, right? And then we're going to do, golly, gee, Batman. Oh, then we don't need to do this. We can just do with factory. Okay, so now we do public character fixture with factory, I ability factory, factory, this dot with ref underscore ability factory, factory, there we go. And now this is going to have that and that. So far so good. We have 2 errors left in the solution. Where are we? This goes away because we no longer have this, right? Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do var factory equals substitute for I ability factory factory dot create strength dot returns new strength with, I think we said you have to make the strength 12, right? How is it that it didn't force the rest of these to implement the base? That's odd. Break all the things, break the things, break the things. Oh, it has to have a parameterless constructor. That's easy enough, right? No, it's not. Oh, it means we have to do like an activator type. Jeez, that's gonna be ugly. No. Attack. I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't want to use the activator, but I mean, I feel like for the confines of this, I'm okay with it. But at the same time, it feels really stinking ugly. Like, we go back to the ability. Okay, so like now I get why I didn't do that because I put the new constraint on here. I really don't want this to be new. I want this to have an integer score where it can pass the score into t. Remove creation arguments. I don't want to remove creation arguments. I wanted to have arguments. All right, whatever. Bye bye new. Bye bye new. Activator dot create instance t with score as the parameter. Activator.create instance. What do we get? We get a type and object parameters. So okay, it's weird that the generic one doesn't let you give parameters. This would be type of type of t activator. Oh, cast it to t. And the implementation detail will be that it defaults to 10. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. So we'll do factory.create arg.any integer returns a new one with score 12. So now this should run. Requires interface to do the thing. Do we want to default it on the interface? No, this will explicitly force us to go back and remember that we need to figure out a way to how we're going to recreate the value from restoring the character object, right? Like if we have multiple character objects, how do we deal with that? Object reference still not set to an instance of an object. Where? If it's still in the same place, that's going to be funny. Yep. Same to go. Yeah. Same to go. Oh, okay. Well, my factory create method isn't doing the thing. I can create a simple integration test and just let it be an actual factory that does stuff, but I don't know if I actually want to do that just yet. Factory.create arg any int should return that thing. I think it's time for another cup of coffee, folks. All right, so we have verified that requirement. That took a little longer than I would have liked, but we verified that the attack roll. So now let's add the thing to damage dealt, right? So when the attack roll let's test the gamut. Let's do the thing. Let me go back before I go any further. Let's just test the thing. What am I doing? Test. What is it? How do I do theory data again? Golly, I haven't. Oh my god, I haven't been using XUnit recently. I've been using a different framework. Theory. It's inline data. There it is. Inline data. We'll do int. Or no, yeah. I think we have to define the type. Or does it get defined based upon what we give it? I think this has to be int strength, int modified. Yeah. So we'll give it 12 and we'll expect it to be 21. Okay. And then we can take this thing and we can give this to strength, right? And that way 20 will be the 20 from the 20-sided die will be our constant. And then modified should be, that's what we expect, right? So let's go back to our table that has tables, ladders, and chairs that has all that information on it. So 20 is plus 5, right? Let's go back. Let's just do that. And let's do, if my strength is 20, then my roll should be 25, right? Let's just test those two things. Let's test the low end and the high end. No need to write a test to test all of it, right? Okay. We can go back and fill that in later. I just wanted to verify that it actually does do stuff and not just making myself feel good about having a green-lighted test. Okay, so now we have to verify that the damage is dealt. So we're probably not even going to get to the experience bit. Okay, so we're still here. Ugh, we're still on the first requirement. This is actually a little more difficult than I wanted it to be. Okay, so damage, attack roll and damage dealt. So now we should be able to do the same thing and the strength. So when attacked, the strength should apply to damage. So that verifies the roll. I think here what we would want to do is check the defender hit points, right? Because that will give us the clearest indication of the damage, right? Now we're not actually just going to go check that the damage actually was set to a value. We're just going to say, hey, we know as the result of all of our other unit tests that when the defender takes damage, their hit points go down. So let's just test the behavior of when the strength is applied, the hit points go down effectively. We don't want to get into that math because that math is actually way too difficult. So we're going to modify this back to what we had before, where this is going to be 12. We don't want to roll a natural 20. We want to roll, let's just roll, I think a 15 will get us there. Change that back to a fact. Hit points should be 3. I think that's accurate. I think that's an accurate test. Should be 3 but found 4. Okay, so now the question becomes how do we delegate how much damage this person is going to take based upon the attack, right? The double damage. Or the damage. Every time I come to this readme, it's in the wrong place from where I left it. Attack roll and damage dealt. Strength modifier. Attack roll and damage dealt. Okay. So let's go to where we apply damage. Right? Because like we apply damage here. Oh, so we need like an entire damage algorithm to figure this one out, right? Because like, oh, okay. I think we're gonna stop here because Like now I want to come up with a proper algorithm for how this works and see if I can't like abstract that thing, because I should just be able to pass in the roll, the the roll event, and the defender, and that figures out all the damage for me, right? Because ooh, now do I actually want the modifier? Okay. Now I know why I wanted the modifier. Modifier. Yeah, I don't want direct access to that modifier. All right, so now we have access to everything. We have access to the roll, the modifier, and the modified roll. We could do that math ourselves, but why? We could also do like a two event dot modified and get the modified value out. Whatever. I don't want a method on my event personally. Let's just figure out the math here. So if it's a natural 20, there. Otherwise, we're going to break this out so that we can like think about this a little bit better. So, and can we, does Ryder, it doesn't. All right, so we're going to take, it's going to be the attack dot roll dot modifier +1. Oh, get out of my face. I got this. I'm just messing it all up. Because I was like, wait, I'm going to have to apply that same thing to the result of that function, yeah? So let's do attack dot roll dot, oh, wait, no, it's doubled. Didn't we read that requirement? It's doubled for crit. Yeah, doubles the strength modifier. Ugh. Okay, so here we'll do, okay, so if it's that, it'll do attack, this one unit test at a time. Attack dot roll dot modifier +1. Run it. Okay. So then we can take this unit test and we can duplicate that one and say when, oh wait, no, we won't put that one down there with the other, wait, oh, this is the critical attack one. Haha, should take double damage. So when critical, I am so good at the thing, I astound myself. Should take double, should apply double strength So when I roll a 20 here, all right, so we have to copy some of the bits of this test. I have to grab all that. that piece. Okay. So now it should actually, okay, so then the math behind that is what when we crit we double, and then when we crit we double, and then we apply double strength modifier too. I feel like that's like a one hit kill, right? Like I think we're coding like the one hit kill. That's what's happening. Okay, so here attack modifier. Read that again. Double the modifier. Two plus 2. Right, because you roll a natural 20, you automatically do 2 points of damage. Right? And then if you hit the attack modifier, we're going to take the strength modifier. Oh, we technically don't need to do this off of the roll, though. We could technically just get this off of the character's strength if we wanted to put that back. But I think I like having the roll event being, or the attacker not being here, because now the attacker, after they've executed their attack, they really can't do anything. Like, it's the attack's in progress. So I like that. I've even got one better we can do. So let's verify whether or not this works. So let's run all these tests, and if this works, we're going to go back and make one optimization, because I am trying to build the perfect system. Roll.attack modifier. What value? What object? Line 54 of character. Strength.modifier. Did we not provide? We gave the attacker strength, yeah. But this isn't, okay. Let's figure this one out. So this is the thing. So this will add a modifier of 2 on a crit, which is already a crit. So it'd be 4, so it would be 1, right? So like we would do 4 points of damage on a crit just from having 12 strength. So let's run these tests again. This is giving me an object reference error 2. Where? Oh. This gets into creating fixtures and dependencies and nonsense. I honestly think I just want to do this. Yeah, I'm going to cheat and do that. That makes my test slide up, and I'm just going to do that because that's easier for me. Alright, so when you attack, a crit attack should take double damage. When crit attacked, apply double strength, right? So now we know that we get the crit and the double strength on the crit. So we've solved. Minimum damage is always 1, even on a crit. I think that's already solved. Oh no! What happens if we have negative? Negative. When attack. When attack. All right, so let's do what when attacked. Defender takes minimum damage, right? The minimum amount of damage. So it means that their hit points should be 4. Let's go ahead and do some of that strength modification stuff. Let's go verify that if we modify the strength, let's grab all that real quick. So we got all that, right? The roll is only going to be, let's put the roll at 15, right? Let's set the strength score to something we know has a negative modifier, like 5. And let's see what happens. That should fail. Yep, found 7, right? Because we're adding. So because... oh man, because of the way we've got this coded right now, we're actually adding stuff. All right, so let's introduce a variable. Let's replace both occurrences. We'll do the roll modifier, right? And we'll do greater than 0. Then you can return the attack.roll.modifier. Otherwise, return 0. Okay. So now they don't get life back from a weak hit, because that isn't how it works in reality. Okay. So dexterity modifier to armor class and constitution modifier to hit points. I think I'm going to do the armor class bit, and I'm going to figure the constitution bit out later, because I don't think I actually understand that requirement. Like, I don't understand what that thing is saying. Like, add constitution modifier to hit points. Always at least... oh, always at least 1 hit point. Okay, same thing as the negative bit. Okay, that's easy enough. All right. So now we're going to check... the armor class. What are we doing? Here. All right, so add dexterity modifier to the armor class. That should be straightforward enough, right? So when attack, okay, that's kind of already testing it. Like, I kind of want to test that behavior of the armor class. How do we don't even think we have a way to raise our character's armor class currently. Or can we just set the armor class on a character? Let's go look. Armor class is publicly mutable for the moment. That's fine. So we'll just set the armor class to... whatever, okay. Okay, so we need to do that plus the attack.defender. dexterity.modifier. So now we're going to have to go back to our character and we're going to have to set okay. Let's go to our test. And like, what are we trying to test here? We're trying to test that when my armor class is higher, I have a feeling we're going to want to come back and encapsulate some of this logic later, but at the moment, this will be fine. Right, because I may just want the armor, like the projected armor class to be the internal armor class plus the modifier. So that way we always just have the correct armor class here on the character itself. So we'll probably get to something like that a little bit later. Right now, all my other tests, my test's going to fail. Yep. Yep. All right, all those are now set, so we can rerun all these tests and hopefully everything will pass now. All right, there we go. So now that all the tests are passing, we want to verify that the armor class... Okay, so we're going to change up the conventions of these tests. So when defender, so what we want is a fact, right? We want a fact. It's a fact that when defender dexterity when the defender's dexterity modifier no, we've been saying when attack, when defend should apply dexterity modify. Should apply dexterity. There we go. That'll work. All right, so we'll grab all that from this other test real quick. We'll paste all that in here, and really what we're checking at this point. And where do we place that code for that roll? So we're saying, okay, so that's on the roll itself. So what we're saying is my hit point should still be 5, right? Basically, I shouldn't take any damage. When the dexterity modifier is applied. So my strength score can be 10. We don't care about that, but what we do care about now is dexterity, right? So we'll do dexterity, and we want the score to be... I guess it doesn't matter what the score is. We can dictate what the roll is too, right? So let's mock out the roll as a higher than the armor class. The default armor class is 10, which is 11. So we'll get really, really nitty-gritty. This is actually probably a good idea for a theory to test all the various things that will make this work correctly. That way we can define some valuable data around our API surface and how it works, right? So we'll call this we'll put 12 there, and we'll put comma 5, and we'll call that the int dexterity and then we'll call this the int hit points, right? So when we have this dexterity, we expect to have these many hit points left over. Cool. So let's think about that, right? If that means pretty much anything over 12 in this scenario, because I mean, I could technically mock the die as well, right? But I want the die to be our constant. The die is 1 over the... Oh, no, 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 no. Maybe everything has to be... No. Yeah, okay. Oh, 11. This amp goes to 11. This is actually not going... This is going to be the roll. And that's going to be the dexterity. So we want the hit points to be constant. We want these to be modifiable. And anytime we roll an 11 and we have a 12 of dexterity, we expect you to win. If we have a 10 and you have a 12 dexterity, we expect you to win that roll too. Right? This should all work. Nope. Both failed. Object reference. Did we not give it... Wait a minute. I don't know what is going on here. They all start with a score 10, right? Okay, so let's debug. Womp, 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 womp. Now this should work. Haha. Okay. So dexterity 10. So the roll is 10. Dexterity is 12, which should give me a +1 modifier, which means it should be less than... Okay. This is good. This is good. This is good. Let's debug these things. This is good. We have failing tests. We like failing tests. Yep, we get that. Great. That. Great. Great. The roll is 10, and the modifier is that. Right, so now my armor class is 10. Oh, we just can't read. That's what the problem is. We are having a horrible time reading these requirements. Okay, 12 gives me +1. And it has to be greater than or equal to the armor class, right? So, okay, so let's stop that. Let's go back to our data and make sure that we got that right. So what we said was, if we roll an 11, 12 gives us the +1 modifier. Yeah, if I roll a 10, I shenanigans. All right, so we're getting a dexterity, right? So we're getting all that. So let's debug it again, debug it again, debug it again, and see what happens. All right, that's the roll modifier. So now we're saying the defender's armor class. The defender's armor class plus their dexterity roll modifier. How much is my dexterity? Why am I getting... Let's go figure that one out. Attack tests. That just means that my defender is not getting the correct... Wow. It's funny how that one works, yeah? Like, why is this not working? Oh, maybe because you didn't do the right thing? I forget what we called him. I think we called him King Hater. That's what we're gonna call him. Ah, King Hate. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And if we go back to our... What are we calling with the defender? So now these things should light up. Yay! Okay. And we'll add Constitution modifier to hit points. I actually think I'm going to end up coming back and doing this whole thing slightly different. Like, we're just kind of implementing the details. But I think I'm going to actually come back and do it a little bit more reactive later. Because, like, this actually kind of seems weird to me, right? Because, like, we shouldn't be doing this here. This is leaky. This leaks a lot, right? Like, we probably shouldn't be doing this here. This kind of... Well, maybe this. Right, because this is transient. This is all roll modification stuff. So, yeah, that makes sense for that to be there. Like, this doesn't need to be here. And, like, actually, we don't even need to do this here. We can do this up a level. So, earlier I joked about the perfect system. It was a bad Tron reference, or maybe it was a good Tron reference. I don't know. But making the joke of, I would like to create a system where there's not a single if statement. So, now what I can do is... We're just going to actually change this to... Okay. We're going to remove this if statement from here, right? Because we're only doing this when that if statement happens. So to reduce a method invocation, we are going to do X. X dot attack event dot modified X dot defender. X dot defender. Okay. So now we won't even hit that and that thing unless... So we can reduce that if statement completely. Which, based upon my cognitive complexity rules, means that this now has a 0% complexity, whereas before, and you may or may not be able to see this, this has a 10% complexity. So every time we add an if statement to a method, it increases the complexity of that method, right? So if we can get to the point where our methods have no complexity, then we're creating a more autonomous and a more cohesive system, in my opinion. I could be wrong, though. I've been wrong before. So let's rerun all our unit. Wait, do we write a unit test for that last requirement? Oh, we didn't for the Constitution, right? Because we were gonna come back and make a change to the character. So now I want hit points to be private set, and I want. See, what I want to do is when this thing is constructed, be able to say your hit points equals 5 plus it's going to be 5 plus your constitution dot modifier. Modifier is greater than 0. Return the constitution modifier. Otherwise, ooh, goodness. Question mark. Return 0. There we go. So now if I send in a character, so this is actually a character test in my opinion. When constructed, constitution should be blah. When constitution when the constitution is high, when constitution score high should, yeah, when constitution score hit point should have more hit points. Right? That sounds like a good name for a test. So then here we'll do the character dot hit points should be 10. We know that's going to fail. That's fine. In our character fixture, we can now say with a factory, and we can give it underscore. Let's go to our other test real quick. Let's go to our attack test, where we have that logics, so we can just copy the thing and paste the stuff. All right, so we'll grab this. Go to our character test. We'll do that. We'll say give it factory. We'll change this to constitution, and we'll change that to constitution, and we can just say when the constitution is like 15 I think gives us a +3 modifier, so our default would be 8, right? So now this should be 8. Oh, it's gonna be 0. Wah, 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 wah. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Oh, it's close enough, right? That means the modifier is wrong for 15. 15 is only +2. I thought 15 was +3. 15 is +2. 16 is +3. YOLOs. So now we've done this correctly. There we go. All right, so we've now got unit tests in for pretty much all of the requirements through core except for the character leveling bit. So we'll come back next week probably and talk about how we can level our character, and then we'll jump into classes, right? And talk about how classes are going to be different or however this is going to look. I don't really know off the top of my head, but this will give us a place to start from. I think this whole thing is going to be kind of interesting, right? Because we have like fighters, paladins, and monks, so that might be kind of cool. Anyway, so we've... Oh, wait. We got units that's failing. We can't end like that. Where's my object reference? Now it's going to be in character 23. Oh. Woosa. Yeah, we're probably going to end up revisiting this factory thing. I'm already starting to not like it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have to create a default. So we're going to, in our default fixture, it has an ability factory. It should create... Ugh. That means that every single test now has to have... Every test where we override the default of the factory. I wonder if in substitute allows us to... I'm sure it doesn't. It doesn't allow us to provide a default behavior for certain things that aren't explicit, I'm sure. Constitution... That's okay. It at least shows us the fault in our design, which is good, right? Because like now we see that this will have like this thing every time we abstract it, we'll have to explicitly come and override these default values, and that's not really cool. So that's ugly. So we can figure out a better way to do that for next time. Oh wait, no. What? And this is where I step back and I punt. Hit points is something that's modifiable outside of here, but not... All right, so we'll do it the good old-fashioned way, yeah? We'll say this dot win any value, or no, not win any value. Win property value, property value, no, when property value changes, x dot constitution, right? We will go ahead and subscribe. We'll take one. We only want to do this once, so we'll explicitly do a dot take one. So we'll take this once. So we'll only get it on object initialization, and we'll say x dot... No. Okay, yeah, we want to set the hit points plus equal to that to x dot modifier. And here we want the same logic, right? So we want to grab this. This can become x. We can even do this dot where x dot modifier is greater than 0, and then we can just apply the modifier. I like that better. That feels more reactive. That feels less ridiculous. Now we're not worried about that. We can give it a default value of 5 here and not care. Yep. So now if we rerun all these tests, maybe they work out of the box without us having to do anything more? I don't know. Some of them do, some of them don't. So critical attack, object reference is still not set. Which object reference? 37. Dun dun dun. X not equal to null, and x modifier is greater than 0. Run. Haha, okay, perfect. So that gets me where I want to be. Now all my tests are green lighting. I'm going to commit this code, check in, and I'm going to go grab some food, folks. Thank you for joining in. We got through a good portion of our requirements. We got almost through the entire core feature. Next thing we've got to do is figure out how to do this whole experience and leveling thing. So thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. If you're watching and watch later, thanks for watching later. Have a great one.